Hello and welcome. I'm Trevor with Imprintables Warehouse. Today I'm introducing the clipper cutter to you. Congratulations on your purchase. I hope you're as excited about this cutter as we are about launching it. It's the newest addition to our cutter line. It's brought to you as a combination of Imprintables Warehouse teaming up with GCC to offer you professional cutting results in an economical, sleek package. This video is going to help to get you installed and set up with your cutter with the goal of getting it working for you by eliminating the learning curve. We're going to start today with your stand assembled and the cutter mounted to the stand, and we're also going to begin with the physical setup of the cutter. For today's purposes, I'm using our Eco Film. We begin by loading the vinyl from the back of the cutter so the front edge hangs out the front. We'll take care to align the edges nice and straight by using the ruler grid strips. And you'll notice that each edge lines up underneath its own white stripe. So once I have the vinyl positioned, I'm going to move the pinch roller to that white stripe and clamp it down. Now that I have the pinch rollers clamped down, I'm going to turn the power on to allow the cutter to scan side to side and detect their actual positioning. So you can see the cutter has scanned from side to side. It has determined the pinch roller positions, and it has set a starting point for us. The importance of the white stripes going across the cutter track is to indicate where the traction areas are so we get good traction feeding the vinyl back and forth. It is important to have your pinch rollers completely within their white stripe. If they are too close to the edges, the cutter may not recognize them and may continue to search for its position. Now that we're set up, the very first thing I want to do is move the front edge of the vinyl to a better starting position, closer to the blade. I've got it to where it's about a ½ inch in front of the blade. Now I'm going to set a new starting point, or an origin, for the cutter. So I will press the button that says Origin Set. Power light blinks to ensure that the origin has been set. Now the vinyl is set up. Okay, so the next step will be to determine the blade depth and set it up for proper cutting. The blade holder is the tool mounted on the right side of the cutter carriage. There's a latch that flips out to the right that allows you to remove the blade holder itself. So we need to adjust the blade depth with the adjustment dial on top of the blade holder. If you turn the dial clockwise, it will expose the blade from inside the blade holder. So we're going to adjust it clockwise until you can basically just see the blade tip. Now we need less than the thickness of a credit card's worth of blade tip exposed here. So you can actually use a credit card to lay on top of the blade holder to compare whether or not you have more or less than the thickness exposed. Once you have your blade in its position, we're going to insert it back into the cutting head. When we insert the blade holder in, it's important to know that the blade holder has a lip going around it. That lip is meant to fit into the groove in the latch door. That will hold the blade holder in securely so it does not raise when it touches the vinyl. So now we're going to perform the cut test procedure to determine our blade depth. We have set our origin, so we're going to press the button that says Cut Test. The cutter is going to cut a small square for us in the right front corner and feed it forward to view. We'll look at the cut test, peel away the square to ensure we cut through the top layer, which we have. Make sure that it did not cut through the backing, which it has not. You may see a little scoring into the backing layer. That is okay. So we determined our cut test to be okay. If you see some results like rounded corners or cutting through, you're going to want to reduce your blade depth. And obviously, if you cannot pick the square away cleanly, then we're going to want to extend the blade depth. Once we determined that our blade depth is satisfactory, we are going to move the front edge of the vinyl back closer to the blade and set a new origin or starting point with the cut test just slightly in front of the blade. So now your cutter is physically set up, your blade depth has been established. I just want to touch on a few key things in review before we move on. First, I want to reiterate how necessary it is to have your pinch rollers positioned in the white striped areas to ensure that the machine will recognize their positioning and provide adequate and accurate tracking while moving back and forth. And I also want to take this time to mention that the pinch roller positions are also important because they will determine the cutting width that your cutter is capable of producing. The cutting head will only cut in between them. So if we only have them 3 or 4 inches apart, that's all the wider our cutter is going to cut. So we need to have the pinch rollers towards the outside edges of the film in order to maximize your vinyl usage and eliminate waste. Don't forget, on the physical setup of your cutter, always ensure your pinch rollers are lined up with their white stripes. Remember that the pinch roller width equals your cutting width. And also remember to set your origin before performing any cut job.
So now let's move on to the software installation portion. Let's go to the Software CD menu, select your AR24 and the Windows driver Automatic Detection. This is the driver to use with the USB cable operation, which is the recommended connectivity for use with your cutter. And the driver wizard will begin. When this first window comes up, we're going to take this opportunity to make a change to your Windows device installation settings. So we will go to your Windows menu. We're going to right click on Computer, left click on Properties, and the System window opens up. Let's select Advanced System Settings. System Properties window opens up. Let's select the Hardware tab. Then select Device Installation Settings. And let's change this to No. Let me choose what to do. And also never install driver software from Windows Update. And save changes. And then OK. Now let's leave this system window open so you can come back and undo that if you prefer later. But we will minimize it for now. And now that we've done as instructed here, we're going to click OK. So when this window opens up, we are going to now take the opportunity to connect our cutter to the computer. So go ahead and plug in your USB cable and click OK once you've made the connection. We are instructed at this point to close any graphics design softwares that you may have open, like Corel Draw or Adobe Illustrator. So please do that and click OK. We'll see that the successfully added driver has been confirmed. At this point, we're going to take the opportunity to register your cutter online with the manufacturer in order to obtain a 3-month warranty extension to take your warranty to 15 months. So click Online Registration. The GCC Club menu will open up. You can sign up for that at your leisure. Okay, so now the driver is installed, we are going to open up your devices and printers. Windows Start menu. You should see devices and printers there. and there is the AR24 listed under your printers and faxes section. That is where you will want to see the cutter. It is very important that it is listed as a printer to ensure that we will get sufficient operation. Okay, so your driver has been installed. Now we are going to move on to the GreatCut software installation portion. We'll begin by going to the GreatCut section and start with online registration. An internet browser will open up requesting you to enter your voucher code for GreatCut. This you will find on the back of your software CD envelope. Once you've located it, please enter it in all capital letters and with the dashes as it appears. Once you have your code entered, you will click Go On. And when this next window opens up, you will enter all your company information and then click Request to request your license code for your GreatCut software. When you get this license code emailed to you, it'll appear in an internet link just like the screen you see here. The pertinent information is in the green text. We will need these 3 pieces of data to enter upon opening GreatCut for the first time. The next step we're going to take is to actually install the GreatCut software. So you go to your software CD menu and select Install GreatCut, and the program will begin to install. So we will follow the default recommendations from the manufacturer while installing this. So we will start by clicking Next. At the user license agreement, please review. When you agree, click Yes. And again, we will allow the program to install where it is recommended. So let's click Yes. And Next for typical. And Next for this program folder. Yes for the shortcut. And Next to install. While this program is installing, now would be a good time to check your email inbox to see if you read the license code from GCC for the GreatCut software. Program has been installed, and now the copy protection portion is installing. Okay, now the copy protection has been installed, and we will finish the wizard and it will start GreatCut 2 for us. Now the program is open and we are going to go through some setup steps in the software right now. We'll begin by going to File and Open. And there's a file we want to use. It's the GreatCut logo. So click the GreatCut file and this logo will open up on your design screen. Let's begin by first selecting the graphic, and let's check the width. Up in the toolbar, you'll see the width is noted as 19.685 inches. Let's reduce that to a more manageable size for testing the cutter. Let's go to 6 inches. Hit the Enter key. Your graphic is resized. And now if we want to cut this graphic, the command will be Output. So we're going to go to File and then Output. You'll first get a setup window. When it opens up, let's just click Don't Show This Message again and click OK. Now we will come to the device setup screen. So let's first select the driver. You'll find your AR24 and select it. Now we'll click USB/Firewire. And on the device drop-down list, we will select the AR24. And then click OK. The device has been set up. From the Output to Device screen, we are going to find all of our necessary settings in regards to the cut job. So let's begin by setting up a new material. Let's add our imprintables warehouse EcoFilm heat transfer vinyl. Click OK. You see the material has been added. Pressure of 80 is fine because we know our cut test was done well with the EcoFilm in the cutter. Next, we're going to lower our speed. I recommend cutting at a speed of 20 centimeters a second. So we'll set that to 20. So let's go up to the material properties box and save our profile. So these settings are saved. Next, we want to check the material width, which will be the reading from the cutter to the computer of its available overall cutting width. This will be determined by the position of your pinch rollers. So we read our material. That value changes to 13.277 inches, which is important for the next step because we're going to go to the preview screen next. And this preview screen opens up and we'll see our 13.2 inches of cutting width applied to the left side of the screen, which indicates the front edge of our vinyl. And then the portion of the preview screen going out to the right will be the remainder of the roll as the software views it when it's set up in your cutter. So this graphic is now aligned to cut up the side of your roll of vinyl. We do not want that, so we're going to rotate this image by going to Options and Rotate Axis. There you see your image has been rotated. And since we are cutting it on our EcoFilm heat transfer vinyl, we will go to Options and Horizontal Mirror to cut the graphic in reverse. So our graphic has been rotated. It has been mirrored. To cut this job, we will simply go up to Output and click on Output.
Now we're going to forward the vinyl with the down arrow to take a look at the job to ensure that the top was cut sufficiently and that we did not cut through the backing layer. You may see some random cut through, and if that is the case, we still have some adjustment available to us in the cutting pressure in the software for grade cut. Now we have successfully cut graphic. Cutter is operational. Don't forget, whenever you're cutting, ensure to rotate your graphic so it fits along the front edge. Ensure to use your preview screen to confirm the graphic's alignment. And always remember to mirror the graphic for heat transfer vinyl before cutting. So now we've had a successful cut on your cutter. Now we need to introduce you to the CadworxLive design software so you can create your own custom graphics for the purpose of cutting here on your clipper.
Okay, so let's begin in the CadworxLive main page at CadworxLive.com. We'll begin by clicking for the free trial. This will be a necessary step to take to create your unique username and password for your CadworxLive membership. Enter your data here and click on Sign Up. You will receive a confirmation email from CadworxLive that will require you to register and verify your email address with them. Once you receive that email and verified your email address, you will be able to log in and use your CadworxLive design software. So I'm going to log in, and in order to create graphics, let's launch the Design Studio. Another Internet tab will open up with your Design Studio and your blank canvas to create in. So we are going to click the Production Tool Text to create some text. Let's change the actual text itself. Do something simple. And let's real quick choose a font. Nice bold font is what we're going to choose. And then we will click OK. So there's our graphic on the screen. Let's click it to select it. Check the width, 12.5 by 2 inches high. Let's reduce that to a more manageable test graphic size of 6 inches wide. Alright, so we've created our graphic. We are going to export this graphic. So we will go to Export. In the export window, let's give it a unique file name that is easy to detect and locate. And also let's change the file type to a PDF. This is the preferred format to ensure the graphic holds its outlines and its proper size. When that's done, we'll click OK. And you'll see there is our graphic exported in the bottom left corner. So at this point we are done with CadworxLive. We are going to move on to the Great Cut software. Now we need to import this PDF file, so we will go to File and then Import. And that file will go to your downloads, and you'll be sure to specify PDF files, and there we see our created graphic. Page selection will come up. Let's click OK here. And there is our graphic now in Great Cut. So as before, we will go to File and Output. Here is all of our settings. Our EcoFilm is the material. Pressure and speed are fine. Read our material. And we go to our preview screen. Again, we will want to rotate the graphic to the front edge of the media by Options, Rotate Axis. And we also want to mirror it because of our vinyl. So Options, Horizontal Mirror. And now click Output, and you will be able to send your CadworxLive created graphic to your cutter through the Great Cut software.
So now we've successfully cut graphics on your clipper cutter from CadworxLive and Great Cut 2. Hopefully the instruction that you've received here has helped eliminate the learning curve in getting your cutter installed and set up, and to help get you on your way to cutting your own custom graphics with your clipper cutter. For more tips, final supplies, or any questions that you may have, please check us out at imprintables.com.